Glad you could join us. Now, in our first story, an Accra High Court has adjourned till March 19 a case seeking to get the commissioners of the Electoral Commission, EC, incarcerated for their failure to implement the Representation of People Amendment Act (ROPA). The court sitting was adjourned because bailiffs have only successfully served the EC chairperson, while the other commissioners are yet to be served. Now, 5 applicants of the case have described as continuous disobedience of the orders of an Accra High Court, directing the Commission to implement within 12 months the law that allows Ghanaians residents abroad to vote during our general elections. Now, counsel for the applicants, Samson Ladi Ayenini, has been speaking to Joy News.
For the contempt case against the electoral commissioners, each of them, unfortunately, there could not be good business in court today because the court bailiffs have only been successful, as it appears on the record, have only been successful to serve only the chairperson. So as you could see in court, it was only the chairperson who was represented by a lawyer. The other 6 were not in court and they were also not represented. So the direction of the court is very simple. Those who have not been served, and I know some of them are dodging, they will get them, the court bailiffs will trace them and get them served. When they serve them, they will file their as it were, their explanations. Because as you know, the chairperson has filed her own and explained why things are the way they are and why they should not be committed to prison for disobeying the orders of the judgment. So we'll wait. When the bailiffs are done, they would also obviously appoint their lawyers. They will bring their affidavits in opposition and explain why they should not be committed for contempt. Then we can move on from there. So it's been adjourned to the 19th, as you heard. So that's it. We'll wait till the 19th.
And we'll bring you the latest, of course, on the 19th of March. Now, in other stories, government has denied an allegation by the opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC, that they bugged their offices and doctored a recording of one of their meetings to include some statements that were not made, allegedly, by the national chairman, Samuel Ofosu Ampofo. Now, a tape purported to be from a leaked tape from a meeting of the NDC's communications team had Let me start it. Okay. Now, in another story, government has dismissed claims by the opposition NDC that it has bugged its offices and doctored a tape recording of a meeting held there. A leaked audio recording emerged Wednesday in which the alleged voice of party chairman Samuel Ofosu Ampofo is heard urging the party's communication team to insult the Peace Council chairman and, quote, take the EC chair to the cleaners. Now, there have been conflicting reports by the party's communication officers on the authenticity of the tape. But the National Communications Officer, Sami Jempi, said the tape has been doctored and described the move as a diversionary tactic by government. Speaking at a news conference earlier, Information Minister Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah said government, as a matter of policy, does not bug offices. And he described the alleged conspiracy of the opposition as heard in the recording as a threat to the country's democracy and security and called for its condemnation. We will bring you a recording of Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah later in the bulletin. But now let's listen to a member of parliament for Odododio, Nilante Vanderpoy, who says the Deputy Communications Officer of the NDC, Kweku Boahing, has revised his earlier statement that that tape is indeed authentic.
What I'm more worried about there is the fact that we know Ofosu Ampofo over the period. And you know what Ofosu Ampofo is capable of saying and what he is not saying. If it had been any other person, possibly people will give some sort of credence. But Ghanaians know Ofosu Ampofo. So if you pick 1, 2, 3 of his speeches and you add certain things to it, you doctor it using today's technology to imitate his voice and put it out there. It is you who is doing, because the larger population out there know for example for what he's been all this time in politics. They know his stand. It was a meeting to discuss the communication issues and some of the problems we're encountering. And normal with national chair decision on the boycott of the Yasu West Wagon. As a leader, most of these things, you try to analyze and say this is the way we should have reacted and all those things. I don't think that it was wrong for anybody. But I want to say here that what Ghanaians should be thinking about at this point in time is the abuse of people's freedoms and privacy. But we are continuing with the investigation of whatever has happened. And we can say, for a fact, looking at the caliber of people who were at the meeting, one of the few were in the meeting, and they said, yes, it's the meeting. Yes, I was there. You understand?
But he also says he stands by what the man said.
Yes, because he was in the meeting.
Clapping.
He was in the meeting. He was in the meeting. So once that meeting, issue about that meeting had come out, even without listening to the tape, he agreed that I was in the meeting. Yes, and the things he said, we all agree with him. Then he listened to the tape later. He saw that this tape is different from what transpired at the meeting. This tape has been tampered with. This tape is concocted. This story is fake. Disclaimer. Say yes, even though I was in the meeting, what transpired at the meeting is not what is on the tape.
Mr. Vanderpoort, just before I bring in Pius here, I'm sorry, but we heard him.
Yes.
He said that the party stands by what the chairman said, and that is why you can hear clapping.
Yes.
That means he has listened to the tape.
No.
Otherwise, how would he know there's clapping?
I said he has not listened to the whole tape because the whole tape was not played for him.
Now, you saw there Pius Enam Haji, the Deputy Information Minister, who said that the NDC is plotting to visit violence on Ghana, which is very dangerous.
Do anything, including claiming that their own voices are doctored. They will do anything to get into power. And I think that the good people of Ghana should begin to know the NDC for who they are. The honorable thing to do under the circumstance, and if there was any decency left in the NDC, is to admit that this is wrong, because it is very, very wrong, and play for forgiveness of the people, and maybe proceed to do the honorable thing of resigning. If I were the national chairman, that is what I would have done. Could you listen to some of the things that were said? This is somebody who is saying that, and he is the national chairman of the biggest opposition party. We will go after them. We will not only go after them, but we will do it. Say we will not go after them face to face. We will have to use tactical approaches to make life very uncomfortable for some of them. We will target some people and we will let them know. We will let the people know that their life is in danger. And once they know their life is in danger, they will be careful. As for that one, I want to assure you that we will go all out to ensure that, as President John Mahama said, when it comes to that game, in fact, we are better than them. I mean, and this is somebody...
He says this was doctored.
But I'm saying to you that, you see that they are talking from both sides of their mouth. And they don't know what they are saying. And you just said you played a tape of somebody who says, I was in that meeting, and these were the things the man said, and we are happy that those things were said. Okay? Now we are being told that the thing is doctored. We who were not in the meeting, we are sitting on TV and saying that the tape was doctored.
Now, Roland Walker also spoke to security and international affairs expert Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso.
I've read the whole tape, I've read the transcription, and it is symptomatic of the situation in which we are in our country today. It smacks of something very unstable, that the nation is gradually precipitating towards the precipice where we could fall in any time. And well, it is unsavory. I mean, statesmen don't have to use these words, especially to their followers, urging them, promising, and even inciting them. In actual fact, if this tape is a true reflection of the state of mind of this very good friend of mine and of the party, then we are in for trouble. Because at a point, I read how some people have been threatened and they have even run away. Others are dead from the tape. These words inspire people to action, especially when they know that the cause is justifiable and is being led by their leaders. I want to sound a note of warning that in security, you need not be scared about bigger things. Terrorism is coming and that sort of thing. No. An innocuous situation can just put the whole thing together and the country will implode. If you don't believe me, in Kwapem language, there is a proverb said, "Odi jokru biako nema abuteshi shewe." Just a small piece of yam. But that's not the case. It was the trigger point. Things had piled up. And when things become necessary and become sufficient, there's no amount of witchery or prayers that will stop, as people say, the crossing of the Rubicon. And I'm warning, we have done a lot of things in the past politically which are not very good. And because of the us and them syndrome in our political dispensation, we are forgetting the cause for which we wanted democracy. And there is a new cause where we want just power, not democracy. And therefore, every ingredient, every tool in the toolbox that will make us win power is what we're doing. And in that sense, we become greedy, we become, immoral. In fact, the speech is a very immoral speech if somebody wants to come to power and wants to come through this. Not to say about the past, from Nkrumah's time, but vigilantism didn't start today. I think the Attorney General herself had declared that, look, vigilantism per se as a situation, it's not bad. I mean, you could form any vigilante group in order to stop things untoward.
We'll stay with the story a bit further, and like I said, government has reacted to the NDC's allegations that their offices have been bugged. And as Kojo Menu joins me in studio, he just returned from the news conference addressed by Information Minister Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah. Ernest, what did the minister say? So
first of all, the minister had to state categorically that government has not barred the offices of the NDC. In fact, for them, it is not a government policy to bag offices. He cannot speak for previous governments, but according to him, this Akufo-Addo-led government has never engaged in bargaining as far as, the NDC is concerned or any other institution. Again, he wants to place on record that if what Ofosu-Ampofo allegedly, is accused to have said in the audio is true, what it means is that some government officials, some party officials, especially with the NPP, and Ghanaians generally are not safe because you recall, I'm sure you've listened to the audio where you hear allegedly Ofosu-Ampofo talking about kidnappings and making overt and covert attacks on some people. He thinks that is very dangerous, and he's calling on stakeholders, people he calls stakeholders of our democracy, civil society groups, and what have you, to take a dim view of what the NDC has done, if what we hear in the audio is anything to go by.
Right, thanks, Ernest. Let's hear Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah now.
The first being that the government of Ghana takes seriously the alleged conspiracy to create insecurity within the Ghanaian jurisdiction. And the second being the fact that the government of Ghana welcomes support to win the fight against illegal or irresponsible small-scale mining. As we always do, I'll take them in detail in English and then in Twi, and then I'll take your questions and respond to same. The government of Ghana takes notice of accusations by a political party in Ghana, the National Democratic Congress, that the government has bugged the offices of the said party and doctored a tape recording of a meeting of its leadership, which tape appears to show the leadership of the said party conspiring to create insecurity in the country. For the avoidance of doubt, the government responds as follows. 1, that the government of Ghana, as a matter of policy and practice, does not bug the offices or homes of political parties and their leadership. Indeed, it is not the policy or practice of the government of Ghana to illegally interfere with the privacy or communication of persons or organizations in Ghana. To do so will be an infringement on the constitutional provisions of privacy. Government therefore finds it distasteful that the said party chooses to bring the name of the state into disrepute in its attempt to respond to queries about the validity and origins of the said conspiratorial conversation. The practice of accusing the state and seeking to portray to the global community of democratic watchers that the state is involved in some illegality, that practice is unpatriotic and has the potential to undermine the growing respect that Ghana has for its resilient democracy and respect for the rule of law. Now, while the Akufo-Addo administration cannot speak for past administrations, including the immediate past NDC administration, this administration does not and has not bugged offices of political parties, its key actors, individuals or organizations for that matter. Again, without prejudice to the admissions of the tape and its content by officials of the National Democratic Congress, including their deputy organizer, Mr. Kweku Boahin, and others, the Ghana Police Service has commenced an investigation to determine for itself the level of seriousness that ought to be attached to the said recording. It is our understanding that the police investigation will also determine whether or not the leaders of the said party are indeed conspiring to commit acts to cause insecurity within the Ghanaian jurisdiction.
So, Ernest, the minister also addressed the issue of Anas Harami Anas's latest documentary.
Absolutely, and that aired yesterday on many platforms. Of course, he says that it has come to government's attention, and what they can do for now is to take steps to secure a copy of the investigative piece. Not just that, but the rushes, the raw visuals, so that government can have it investigated and then they can take some action on it. But as it stands now, the Interministerial Committee will continue with its work.
Thank you very much, Ernest Kojo Menu, for that update. We now take you live to the Christianborg Castle in Osu, where the Commission of Inquiry looking into the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election violence is sitting. Currently before them is Chief Superintendent Kwesi Fori. He is the Director of Operations for the Accra Region Police.
To know in deeper terms what really happened. So we went to the crowd and they said some people on board a vehicle or vehicles came in and, shot several times. But through our questioning, we got to know that it added some official color to what they were saying, that the people are officers. That one vehicle was marked police, SWAT team, and so forth. So that made us also to contact our men on the ground, but they seem not to know where the vehicle were coming from. So I decided to see the candidate. I went in immediately. In fact, we had a difficulty in getting to the residence. And after introducing myself and my team, they gave us access. That they gave about 4 people to enter, 4 or 5 people to enter. They were in charge of the gate, some group of boys, unknown boys. So we entered, and I asked of the candidate, and he thought who were part of the team that came to his residence. So on top of his voice,
And that brings an end to day 8 of public hearing of the Commission of Inquiry into the Ayalaso West Wagon by-election. Really appreciate your audience there. Today, the Commission heard from Chief Superintendent Kwesi Fori. He is Director of Accra Region with the Ghana Police Service. And later, we saw broadcast journalist with Metro TV, Paul Adomotre, briefly introduced himself, said he had some videos, but the commission said they were unable to ask him any questions. And later we heard from Bernardino Koku Avle, who is another broadcast journalist, but he's with City TV and City News. Earlier I was joined by editor of My Joy Online, Malik Dabu. We did a bit of analysis on the testimony of Mr. or Chief Superintendent Kwesi Fori. Stay with us here on the Joy News channel. We'll bring you more. Tomorrow, the commission is on a fact-finding mission. They're going to the area which, you know, the violence occurred in. I'm talking about the Ayaso West Wagon by-election area, specifically the La Bawaleshi area where the polling station was, the school, and the home of Mr. Delali Kwesi Brompom. They are there to, you know, find for themselves what exactly that area looks like and be able to match the evidence they've heard to what they see on the ground. Stay with us here. Tomorrow we are there live. We'll bring you all you need to know about this commission's hearing and all that's happened so far. And also, we will bring you live footage from the La Bawaleshi area.